On June 6, 2023, the Kakhovka Dam in southern Ukraine was destroyed by a series of powerful explosions. The blasts, which were heard as far as 80 kilometers away, tore through the structure and the adjacent hydroelectric power plant, releasing an immense torrent of water from the reservoir. The dam, which was located on the Dnieper River, had been a significant part of Ukraine's infrastructure since its construction in the 1950s. Its sudden destruction not only caused immediate and severe flooding, but also triggered a cascade of environmental, social, political, and economic impacts that would unfold over the following months and years. So, what really happened? And how has the destruction of this dam affected Ukraine? Well, let's uncover the full story. Overview of the incident. The Kakhovka Dam is a key hydroelectric power plant located in the Kherson region of Ukraine, and it has always played a significant role in the region's infrastructure and water management. Its destruction on June 6, 2023 marked a critical event during the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The dam, originally constructed in 1956, was a strategic asset both for its capacity to generate electricity and for its role in controlling water levels of the Dnieper River, creating the Kakhovka Reservoir, the second largest reservoir in Ukraine by area. The incident began with Russian forces seizing control of the dam in the early stages of the invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. This takeover was part of a broader strategy to control critical infrastructure and leverage it for military and strategic advantages. The Kakhovka Dam, given its importance, was heavily fortified by Russian troops, who reportedly began mining the structure shortly after taking control. Ukrainian intelligence later revealed that significant amounts of explosives were placed on the dam and its supporting structures. Throughout 2022, the situation around the dam remained tense. Ukrainian forces, aware of the potentially catastrophic consequences of the dam being destroyed, conducted limited military operations in the area. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky publicly warned of the dangers posed by the Russian military's actions and called for international oversight to prevent a disaster. However, Russian soldiers still destroyed the dam through a series of powerful explosions. The breach of the dam, which was about 30 meters tall and 3.2 kilometers long, resulted in an 85-meter-long segment being destroyed. This unleashed a torrent of water that rapidly inundated surrounding areas, affecting both Ukrainian and Russian-controlled territories. The Kakhovka Reservoir, at its highest water levels in 30 years due to intentional water management by the Russians, contributed to the severity of the flooding. And well, let me tell you, the initial flooding was catastrophic. The explosion and immediate aftermath. You see, the water from the breached dam cascaded downstream, inundating dozens of towns and villages in the Kherson, Mykolaiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and Zaporizhzhia regions. The force of the water swept away homes, vehicles, and infrastructure, creating a scene of utter devastation. Entire neighborhoods were submerged, and residents were forced to flee their homes with little more than the clothes on their backs. The Ukrainian government and local authorities scrambled to organize emergency evacuations, but the sheer speed and volume of the floodwaters made this an incredibly challenging task. The ongoing conflict delayed evacuation efforts, as the region had been a critical theater of war. Despite these challenges, emergency services and volunteers worked tirelessly to rescue stranded individuals and provide them with temporary shelter. However, the scale of the disaster meant that many people were left in dire conditions, without access to clean water, food, or medical care. In the days following the explosion, it was reported that 31 people had lost their lives due to the flooding. Thousands more were displaced, their homes either destroyed or rendered uninhabitable. It also had a devastating impact to the health of the people due to hazardous water that was primarily used for drinking and sanitation needs. Health, water, and sanitation. The floodwaters contaminated the water supply for major cities, including Kryvyi Rih, Mykolaiv, and Berdyansk, with hazardous chemicals and biological waste. This posed a significant risk of waterborne diseases such as cholera, which spread rapidly in the absence of clean water and proper sanitation. The disruption to the water supply also impacted essential health services in the affected areas. Hospitals and medical facilities struggled to maintain operations due to lack of clean water, which was crucial for sterilization, hygiene, and patient care. This situation was concerning as it came at a time when the population was already dealing with the mental health toll of the ongoing conflict and the devastating effects of the flooding. The World Health Organization stepped up its humanitarian response in southern Ukraine to address these pressing issues. WHO teams worked closely with Ukrainian health authorities to strengthen disease surveillance, conduct rapid risk assessments, and provide essential medical supplies to the affected areas. The agency also focused on communicable disease prevention and control, ensuring access to essential health services, and supporting the restoration of damaged health facilities. To mitigate the risk of waterborne diseases, WHO provided water purification tablets, distributed hygiene kits, and shared public health advice on how to stay safe in the aftermath of the flooding. The agency also worked to ensure that the affected communities had access to safe drinking water and that water sources were properly treated to eliminate contaminants. There's also the environmental impact. It has been nothing short of catastrophic. Environmental impact. The floodwaters have submerged vast swaths of agricultural land, villages, and towns, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The loss of the Kakhovka Reservoir, which was a crucial water source for irrigation, has severely impacted agricultural productivity in southern Ukraine. The region's arid climate makes it heavily reliant on artificial irrigation, and without the reservoir, vast tracts of farmland are now at risk of becoming unproductive. This threatens food security and the livelihoods of thousands of farmers who depend on these lands. Moreover, the former reservoir bed, which initially resembled a desert, is undergoing a slow and uncertain ecological transformation. Researchers have observed the emergence of new habitats such as willow thickets and marshy areas, which suggests a degree of ecological resilience. However, this new growth is fragile and may not fully replace the lost ecosystems. The area's recovery is further complicated by the potential for future climate change impacts, which could hinder vegetation growth and exacerbate water scarcity. The impact on protected areas and biodiversity has been severe. The floodwaters affected several ecologically important sites, including parts of Ukraine's Emerald Network, which are areas designated for their high conservation value. The lower Dnipro Delta, a Ramsar wetland of international importance, saw over 90% of its area inundated. This not only disrupted the habitats of numerous species, but also introduced pollutants and sediments that could alter the ecological balance for years to come. The influx of fresh water into the Black Sea also reduced salinity levels temporarily, which could affect marine life and coastal ecosystems. And did we mention that the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam also profoundly impacted Ukraine's energy sector, particularly affecting the hydroelectric power plant and the broader energy supply network? Energy sector impact. Well, the hydroelectric power plant situated alongside the dam was a significant source of electricity for southern Ukraine. With a generating capacity of 357 megawatts, it played a crucial role in the region's energy infrastructure. The explosion that tore through the dam also severely damaged the power plant, rendering it unusable. This immediate loss of hydroelectric power was a significant blow, as the plant had been a reliable source of renewable energy, contributing to the overall stability of the national grid. The effects on the Zaporizhzhia power plant were also severe. The Kakhovka Reservoir had provided the essential cooling water needed for the safe operation of the plant, which is the largest nuclear facility in Europe. Following the dam's destruction, the nuclear plant faced an urgent crisis as its primary source of cooling water was abruptly cut off. In response, the plant had to rely on an artificial lake and hastily dug wells to supply the necessary cooling. The emergency measure, while effective in the short term, highlighted the dangerous situation and the ongoing risks associated with the plant's operation in the ongoing conflict. Ensuring the safety of the nuclear reactors without the reservoir's stable water supply became a critical concern for both Ukrainian authorities and international watchdogs. The hydroelectric power plant at Kakhovka was one of 6 dams in the Dnieper Cascade, a series of interconnected facilities that collectively managed water flow and energy production along the river. The loss of this key component disrupted the balance and efficiency of the entire system. Moreover, the ongoing conflict had already strained Ukraine's energy infrastructure, with frequent missile attacks targeting power plants and other critical facilities. The destruction of the Kakhovka Dam compounded these challenges, reducing the overall capacity to generate and distribute electricity. Ukraine's energy sector, which was already struggling with significant losses due to the war, now faced even greater difficulties. The reduction in hydroelectric power capacity meant that the country had to rely more heavily on other forms of energy, including fossil fuels and imported electricity, both of which were more expensive and less environmentally sustainable. The increased demand for alternative energy sources led to higher energy costs for consumers, exacerbating the economic strain caused by the conflict and the dam's destruction. In addition to the immediate operational challenges, the long-term implications for Ukraine's energy strategy were significant. Rebuilding the Kakhovka Dam and its hydroelectric power plant would be a massive and costly undertaking, requiring international support and substantial investment. In the meantime, the country had to navigate the complexities of managing an energy grid with reduced capacity, heightened vulnerability to attacks, and the urgent need for sustainable energy solutions. Now, Ukraine's response to the destruction of the Kakhovka Dam was immediate and unequivocal. And well, here's where the political issues came in. Political and legal responses. Interestingly, Ukrainian authorities quickly accused Russia of deliberately targeting and destroying the dam to cause widespread chaos and environmental devastation. President Vladimir Zelensky described the incident as an environmental bomb of mass destruction, emphasizing the severity of the act and its repercussions. The Ukrainian government initiated an urgent appeal for international assistance to manage the crisis and address the immediate humanitarian needs of the affected population. Countries and international organizations condemned the act, with many backing Ukraine's accusations against Russia. The United Nations and the European Union issued statements deploring the attack and calling for accountability. Various international humanitarian organizations mobilized to provide emergency aid, including water, food, and medical supplies to the affected regions. Financial and logistical support flowed in from multiple countries, highlighting the global community's solidarity with Ukraine in the face of this disaster. Since the incident, Ukraine has taken significant steps to seek justice and compensation for the damages caused by the dam's destruction. The state-run hydroelectric company, Ukrhydroenergo, announced that it had initiated international arbitration proceedings to claim damages estimated at 2.5 billion euros. This legal action aims to hold Russia accountable and secure financial compensation for the extensive damage to infrastructure, environmental degradation, and the humanitarian crisis resulting from the flood. The Ukrainian government is also compiling evidence to present before international courts, including the International Criminal Court, to build a case for war crimes and environmental destruction charges against Russian forces. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that there should be more oversight to ensure such incidents never happen? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.